Gemini, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So take the messages that do resonate and then make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages waiting for you in those readings as well. All right, my friends, let's get started here for Gemini. What is the energy around the week ahead for Gemini? Here and now. Oh, interesting. Okay, so really being guided to stay in the present moment, Gemini. Don't wander to the past or too far ahead into the future, because there is a possibility here for some self-healing here. You know, Gemini's been through a lot lately. I feel in the readings that I've done for Gemini, it feels like Gemini went through sort of like a clearing where it wasn't part of their plan, but a lot of things shifted recently for Gemini. And I feel like it's really important for you to stay in the present moment, Gemini, because if you start wandering to the past or head to the future too much, I feel like you run the risk of reliving the past last few experiences that sort of shifted your whole situation around. And I feel like that'll carry some heavy emotions with it. And if you move too far ahead into the future, I feel like you can't see around the corner yet because you're not in the same landscape or space anymore. Things have really changed around you so that you can move more freely in all of this spaciousness, you know. And sometimes that spaciousness, when we've made lots of room by things ending or things moving away from us, you know, suddenly being in that much space can feel overwhelming and can bring in a lot of anxiety. So it's best to stay grounded in the present moment, because that's where you do have choice and ability to sort of frame things for yourself. Because in the present, that's when we can actually make a difference. We can actually make choices. We can sort of understand our motivations when we're sitting in the present, grounded in the present. And I feel like that is going to bring in some healing for you. You're going to feel like you're mending. You're coming back to yourself. I feel like the last cycle for Gemini was really challenging in a lot of ways because it brought in so much change all at once that was not part of your plan. And you're still being guided here to go the distance. Keep going and keep anticipating more changes coming, I feel, that are going to be very healing and grounding. But you need to stay in the present moment for that to sort of be part of your experience. I think it's going to be tricky not to, see, there's that Six of Cups. Doesn't want to flip back in as I was shuffling. I think you're wandering into the past a lot and you're thinking about the past, and there may be a level of self-deception going on here when you think about the past. You might be sort of deceiving yourself into thinking that some of that was within your control and that, oh, if only I had done this or if I had done that. I don't think so, Gemini. I think that change happened outside of your control, and it happened without you being able to do anything about it. It just had to happen. Knight of Swords, I feel, this energy came in to sort of shake things up for you a bit. I almost feel like for Gemini, it came in to create space because there was too much going on that I think was on autopilot, and you needed a shake up here. But what has happened is that it has kind of created this bitterness. And I'm not saying that you're bitter, but I'm saying that there's a quality here of being sort of frustrated that you didn't have control over this and that it was outside of your planning. I think that's why the Queen of Swords in reverse is coming up here, because this change was outside of your control. And I think you keep thinking to yourself, but if only I had done this, or what if I had done that differently? And there's a part of you that's just pissed off that you didn't plan things this way. You had a different plan, and things shifted. And I think that they shifted so that you could go for something different, going the distance towards bringing some healing in. There's something here that you may have been sort of avoiding by being distracted that, got cleared away. So now you can't be distracted by this thing anymore. You need to focus on what's happening within, I think, is what the message is here. And a part of you is a little annoyed that you didn't get to be in control of it. And so there's some bitterness there. It's kind of bittersweet. And I don't think you've even tasted the sweet part yet. You know what I mean? I think that's coming still. Yeah, there's the Tower. Like, this was big, Gemini. You had a moment where everything around you just sort of fell to the ground. And you I think, have been trying to regain your balance since then. But I think this really happened to help you clear things that were getting in the way of you sort of connecting to yourself. Like I said, I feel like there was a distracted energy, and this was outside of your control. So if there's any, if you're beating yourself up at all about this, take yourself off the hook, because, it wasn't within your control. This is almost a karmic, divinely timed separation. Something, like I said, Gemini's been having a tricky time with this separation. But it was necessary. It was necessary. It wasn't part of your plan. And that's the frustrating part, is that you had a different plan in mind. But man, oh man, do I ever feel like this is going to create a lot of space and room for you to pursue things that, you feel really passionate about, but maybe felt like, it's almost like there was something in your experience that you kept sort of saying, well, I can't do this because of this. And then it's almost like the universe heard you say that so many times, and they thought, okay, well, I'll get rid of this then, and we'll see. Are you going to go for it now that this is gone? This is over. So what's your, what are you going to do now? Make your move, go the distance. And I don't want to put this as an excuse, but it's almost like whatever was removed from your timeline, whatever was removed during this Tower moment, has set you free, and it's almost as if it really does feel like it set you free. Even though it wasn't part of your plan, it might have been enabling you to not pursue something. So this separation was necessary so that it could make space for you to pursue something. It's almost like you had something in your energetic field, or even in your material life, that was holding you back. But you didn't see it as holding you back at the time. But now it's clear that since it's gone now, whatever this was, you have the time, space, and energy to pursue other things. It's interesting. This happened for you, even though you're not seeing it that way right now. This got cleared out for you to be able to do something that is going to be very meaningful and practically prosperous as well. This is going to empower you. I think you were hiding. You were hiding your true self. And now that something has been removed from your life, you are free to pursue everything that you desire. It's just you don't see it that way. You're still feeling like you're trying to understand the purpose of that. You're trying to see how this all balances out. I think you're trying to see this through logic instead of by looking at it almost from a spiritual perspective, you know, instead of from just logic. Like, what could this mean from a different perspective? You know, when God changes our plans so drastically like that, and which is what I'm feeling here, I really feel like it was to get you to stop procrastinating on something that you are passionate about, but you weren't pursuing it because you always had this sort of comfort zone excuse that said, well, it's almost like someone saying, well, I can't go out because I have to go home and walk the dog. Why? I can't go on that trip because who's going to take care of my plants, you know? And then all of a sudden someone comes along and takes all your plants, or your dog ends up finding a new owner somehow, or something shifts outside of your planning and control, and now you can't say you have to go home to the dog or the plants anymore because they're not there. It's just you now. And do you know what I mean by this? Like, it's interesting. I feel like something that was very meaningful to you, that you didn't realize you were using it almost as an excuse to stay in your comfort zone. And now that it's gone, what are you going to do? Are you going to pursue what's truly meaningful for you, or are you going to procrastinate and just sort of be frustrated and a little bit like angry that things changed outside of your schedule? You know what I mean? It's interesting. This definitely happened in the recent past, and you really are going to have a moment of celebration soon. And I don't think you see that yet, but it's coming. It's coming. It's going to be will you choose to pursue, there's the Nine of Pentacles again. Will you choose to sort of water your garden in the terms of like what you already have, you know, by being sort of mindful about the present moment and very grateful for everything you have, and sort of nurturing what you have and allowing yourself that space to be whatever it is that you want to be without any boundaries, just sort of celebrating yourself and doing what you feel really passionate about without focusing on the past, or without needing other people to give you feedback or acknowledgement or recognition. It's a very interesting new day for you, where you're really being guided here to give and receive in balance, not just one way here. I feel like you're grounded in the present moment. You're able to be generous. You're able to be grateful. You're able to be of service to others and allow others to be of service to you. You know, instead of sort of seeing what happened as not fair or being frustrated by it, it's almost like you're going to start to see that this happened for you to get out of your own way, so that you could set down any burdens that you have and reap your harvest. You know, I really feel like you're about to have a big harvest. You know, you're about to really come into some mending here. You just have to keep going. You just keep going. And as you keep going, stay very, very mindful about what's happening in the present moment, because you're building a new foundation here. You're starting from a foundation that has recently been stripped. You know, this is recent that you're back at square one, you know. And when I say back at square one, it's almost like it's not a defeat. This is a renewal. This is like you've gone through a cleanse here. Even though it wasn't your time, you didn't feel like it was time for it. You do have a lot of fear, and you are blocked by worrying about the future. So let that go, Gemini. Focus on the present moment and what the present moment is teaching you about yourself, you know, and how you can sort of transmute anything that you feel might have been a loss or something that was unplanned and therefore very frustrating to you. how you can look at it in a different way to see that now you have all of this space that you can create whatever you want with it. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the space, you can feel free because it's open. You know what I mean? Very interesting reading for you this week, Gemini. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this has been helpful. If it's resonated for you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. I appreciate your support so much. And if you are interested in a personal reading, you can find that information in the description below. And as always, my friends, I'm sending you so much love and light, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Take care.